welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Serena if you guys are new here, and I read almost 10 books this month. I'm getting very close to 10. I'm in the middle of one right now, so I figured let's talk about them. These kind of videos are still very new to my channel, so I'm trying to figure out the format I want to go in, but I think for right now we are just going to go in order of beginning to the end of the month and my thoughts on them. So I will be giving you guys the title, format, what I thought about them. What else do I want to talk about with you guys? Try very hard not to give spoilers because I don't like when I watch videos with spoilers in them, so I'm going to be doing that for you guys. I'm going to be referencing my phone because that's where I have most of my thoughts. Let's just jump right into it. So the very first book that I read this month is actually a carryover from February to March, which was The Maid. I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was really good. It took me a little while to get into it. My only real complaint about this is how quickly it jumps from present tense to past tense in her thought process. If you skimmed a page or you're like a really fast reader and you don't read every single word on the page, you might get confused on what's present and what's past. So I would say be on the lookout for that. I did really end up enjoying this book a lot. I think I binged the last like 200, 150 pages. It was just like very good, well-rounded, well-wrapped up mystery. They call this one a cozy mystery, so you're not gonna get all the gruesome and gory details. It's just like, okay, this is what happened, now how do we put the clues together type of thing. So definitely recommend. This is the format that I read it in because I own the book. Yeah, 4 stars. Like I said, carried over from February to March. Still counting it because I read a bulk of it in March. The next book that I read, which actually wasn't planned, if you go back to my like March hopefuls post, I wasn't planning to read this book until I saw that I owned an early release of it from Book of the Month, and it actually came out March 8th, I think. So I read this one the first week of March, and it was The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This is the first book I read that was by 2 authors. So I thought this was really good. I think I gave this one 5 stars. Let me double check. It was either 5 or like 4.5. I want to say 5. This one I did find that you needed to really get to know each and every single character, and I had to draw a diagram to not get them all confused. So yeah, I did give this one 5 stars. Awesome read. More of a, I don't want to say thriller. I feel like thriller is a very loose term that we just throw around nowadays. Definitely suspense, definitely just drama, like a lot of things going on, a lot of heavy things. I had a jaw-dropping like experience in this book, so definitely lots of twists and turns in here. I enjoyed it, and I buddy read that one. That was my first buddy read, so really, really good. The next book I read, we have to have a little sit-down chat about this one. I had very high expectations for this book, and I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. It just missed the mark for me. And it wasn't like this big life-changing experience. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to put on an author. Like a book shouldn't have to be life-changing. But I just felt like this is very overhyped, especially on Bookstagram. I just recently started getting into booktok, so I'm not really sure about that. But it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this one in this format. I'm gonna go through my physical copies and then audiobooks. I just realized that I didn't talk about the audiobooks I've read yet. So this one I read after listening to Daisy Jones and the Six, which I will get to. This one, I gave it like 4 stars, I think. I don't know. It just kind of like, I wanted to know how each husband intertwined into her life, but it just wasn't like jaw-dropping. It wasn't like, I don't know. I did give this one 4 stars, by the way. I'm looking at it now. I wasn't like obsessed with Evelyn, like I know a lot of people are, and that's just my personal opinion. That's the one thing I do love about Bookstagram and booktok and booktube is that everybody has their own opinions, and this is just a opinion of mine. Whether you agree or disagree, that's okay. That's part of, you know, the world, the book world that we are all in. Next book I read was actually a copy that somebody gifted me. It's called The Truth in Our Scars by Oriana Allen. Little tiny little book. It was so good. It's about her life story going through her past and traumas. There's a lot of trigger and content warnings for this one, so if you want to know about those, just let me know. This is with all the books. Check, you know, your trigger and content warnings. But this one was so good, guys. Highly recommend. I have a hard time getting into nonfiction because I feel like I read so much fiction. That's just what I gravitate towards. But she pulled me in from the first line. So highly recommend. I do not rate nonfictions just because I'm not going to put a star rating or a number rating on somebody's experience. Like, we're all human here. No rating for this one, but highly recommend her book. So that's that one. The next one I read was a gifted copy from Grand Central Publishing, and it is The Match by Harlan Coben. I haven't read one of his books yet, but I hear so many great things about them, so I was really excited to get approved for this one. This is actually book 2 in the series. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a previous book. I was able to read this one without needing book 1, and a lot of people do that also. They just read book 2, but I would go back and read book 1 just to kind of get more of a background. I feel like book 1 is, from what I've read about it, is more of like a prequel, and this is like where a lot happens. So I really did enjoy this one. I think this is another one that I binged in like a sitting and a half, I want to say. Yeah, it was about a sitting and a half. My only thing with this one was that you should definitely make your first read of it the longest read, so you can just really get into like the meat of it. So this one was so good. 5-star read. Highly recommend. No like content warnings or anything like that. This is also like mystery, suspense, thriller kind of book here. So as you can see, this month I read a lot of thrillers and mystery novels. So I'm a little mysteried out at this point, but it's okay because each one gets a little different, so I never really get bored of them. Next one I read was another gifted copy from Grand Central, and it's called Renegade by Nancy Allen. This one is the first book in what looks like it's going to be a series. According to Goodreads, there's going to be more of these, so I'm excited about that. It did take me a little while to get into this one. This is another one where my first read of it should have been like the longest, and then I could have broken it up into smaller sections. Not a very popular read on Bookstagram. I have not seen this book yet, and Goodreads, there was only about 15 reviews when I went to go rate it. I thought it was really good. I wouldn't consider it like a thriller. I think it's categorized as that. It's just more like drama, suspense. Definitely give it a go. She has, I think, experience in law. Yeah, she practiced law for 15 years, an assistant Missouri Attorney General and assistant prosecutor. So she has a lot of experience in law. So a lot of the things that she writes about in here are in fact true, and just the law practices are valid. So she's writing from experience as well, which I really appreciated. This one I think I gave 4 stars. Yeah, this one I think I gave 4 stars. It wasn't one that I would say like will live in my head forever and ever and ever. Yeah, I did give it 4 stars. It just fell a little flat as far as the plot goes. I think I really need book 2 because it also left on a cliffhanger, which I was devastated about. The OCD in me needs like a perfect ending, but I would like to see book 2 before I, you know, get my hopes down about this one. So that was that. The last book, right? The last physical book that I have completed this month, which I just finished yesterday, was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I got this one from Book of the Month as well. I thought this one was good. Again, it's not like something that I would hype up a lot. This is my first book by Lucy Foley, so I mean, I don't have like really many bad things to say about it, just that it's another one where if you are skimming pages, you're really reading pages really fast, you might miss how it jumps from past to present, back to past, up to present. That was one thing I found a little annoying, is that I would miss a transition and then I'd be all confused. There's a lot of moving parts in this book also. This is another one that I needed to draw a diagram for, which I have. That's what's kind of sticking out right here, but I'm not gonna share it because it does have spoilers on it. So if you're interested in seeing my diagram, let me know. I can send it to you. So that's it as far as physical books. Then I did some audiobooks this month. It was my first time doing an audiobook, and I started the month with Daisy Jones and the Six as an audiobook. The reason why I chose to do an audio versus reading it, because I did hear that it is kind of like a transcript format, and I didn't know how I would do reading it as a transcript, like the character's name and then their line, a character name and a line. So that's why I chose the audiobook, and guys, I highly recommend doing the audio versus actually reading it. Each character has their own voice, there's music to go along with it, and it really just helps you like picture it and set the tone. And I know some people have an issue with the audio and how they talk, but this is also the time period that they're set in, so I didn't have an issue with it. I gave this one 5 stars. As my first Taylor Jenkins Reid read, even though I listened to it, I thought it was fantastic. I definitely think that this is my top TJR read, even though I've only read this one and Evelyn Hugo. I also have One True Loves on my shelf, so I'm gonna get to that one eventually. I wanna get through her backlist because I hear her books are just fantastic. So that is that one. I gave that one 5 stars. I think I said that already. The next audiobook, which I think is up there at least in my top 3 of 2022, is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Like I just said, I listened to this. I think I need to own the physical copy of this book. It was so good. Easily 5 stars, easily top 3 reads of the year. Like, that's my narrow window. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And it gave me all the feels that I had with Where the Crawdads Sing, but this one took place in Alaska, and you just felt the drama, the hurt, the excitement, the love, the relationships. It was just so good. I have nothing bad to say about it. It was fantastic. 5 stars. If you're gonna read a Kristen Hanna book, I would 100% recommend reading The Great Alone. I recently just purchased The Nightingale, which I hear is very, very good as well. A lot of her books are just fantastic. So that was an audiobook. This one's categorized, I think, as historical fiction, not contemporary fiction. So if you're into that, I know I'm into that, so I really did enjoy it. That's it as far as completed in March. So the last one that I have that I started a couple days ago but kind of fell behind on is this one here, A Court of Mist and Fury. This is the second book in the series A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's all over BookTok and Bookstagram and BookTube if you've never heard of it before. It's four books, it's 4 books plus a novella, so it's kind of like 5, but this is the second book. They're thick. This one is 620 something pages, 26? 626, yep. So it's a lot. This is like basically 3 books that I read in one. So I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get through this. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it by the end of the month, but I just wanted to talk about it since I did start it this month and I'm not very far into it. As you guys can see, like, here's what I've read and here's what I need to read. So we have a long ways to go here. That's this one. It's like I said, it's the second book. I love this series so far, even though I only read the first book. I know I'm gonna enjoy the rest of them. So I'll let you guys know about that and keep you guys posted. That is it for this month. Lots of 5 stars, lots of 4 stars. Didn't really have a bad read at all this month. February felt kind of flat, so I kind of picked up a lot of books that I knew I would enjoy in March, and that's how I ended up reading. What is this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I completed 9 and I'm working on 1 more, which could be 10 by the end of the month. That's what I read this month. I'm really excited about all these books. My reviews are up on Instagram if you guys want to check them out. This is my Instagram here, at Coffee and Goodreads with an underscore at the end. So that's gonna be it. I'm going to wait to show you guys what I'm reading in April because I want that to be a whole separate video. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the little notification bell so that way you never miss a video with me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.